Welcome back to part 5 of Fire Emblem Sacred Stones difficult playthrough. We're coming off of a pretty nasty reset due to Joshua and foolish actions on my part that I'm going to replicate in this restart. Partly because it's funny, partly because I'm stubborn, and partly because it's just the way I would like to tackle this chapter. Had I had another reset after this, I would have changed my tactics to be more appropriate to recruiting Joshua by either sending Natasha, since he doesn't attack her, or using Gilliam or Seth as bait. I'd probably go with Gilliam just because. But we don't have to deal with that. Spoilers for the results of what's going to happen in this chapter. But I figured I would like to get that out of the way early so as not to waste your time thinking this may be another reset. Or I don't know, maybe you're into seeing me fail if you're watching this in order to gauge how bad or it was a really bad level up to gauge what kind of player I am. Also, please do look out for I've been hearing a lot of people in the comments section tell me how they wish that I would inform them of how it is I actually go about scripting this. There's no script. There's just a general note Bible that I look at of things I'm going to talk about and points I can cover. Similar to bullet points, but it's more like a set playlist of points to, not points, but just a general overview of what I'm going to talk about, like a big paragraph. And I just use that to like bounce off of and formulate ideas from. And usually they're off the cuff anyway, so I just have that as like a little bit of structure so that I'm not wandering completely aimlessly. I'm also going to send, I should talk about the game, I'm going to send Franz over there to the right earlier this time and try to play it a little bit safe. Nimi took out the soldier pretty convincingly, and I'm probably going to use Natasha to heal Colm, and then he's going to take out that soldier pretty handily. Alright, now for the topic of discussion, it's going to be Unit Interplay. Continuing from what we were talking about last time, which was party comp or party composition. Now when you have your party composition, you usually have an idea of how the units are going to interplay with each other from that composition. Such as, let's go with having certain formations you can have, or certain supports, like actual in-game supports that you can have bonuses with if you stand in range of another unit. You also take into consideration weapon triangle control distribution for each unit that you have. Some units are sword locked, some units are axe locked, some units have 2 or even 3 types of weapons that they can use, and some units don't really mess with the weapon triangle at all because they either use bows or magic or are support units. You also would consider things like attack range distribution. Certain weapons generally favor either attacking from a certain range, where there'd be just from 1 tile away, only being 2 tiles away, or 1 to 2 range, where you can attack from both 1 square away and 2 squares away. So, an example of how you would see unit interplay in action would be, let's take an example from this game, Colm and Nimi, one being a sword-locked thief, and the other being a bow-locked archer. So how they interplay with each other is, when you first get them, according to the story, they had already known each other before the events of the game, so they already had that relationship building up before the game had even started. So they get a free story-based first round support, where they don't actually have to stand near each other for a certain amount of turns to get their support. So they already have a C rank in supports going for them if you take them both on the same map. So the game, both in gameplay and in story, encourages you to take these two units together. So the advantages you get from that are pretty apparent. Home can only attack from one square away, isn't too powerful on his own, and is also pretty frail if not for his ability to dodge, which in this playthrough has been kind of questionable because these ACT users have been on PCP. But with that aside, Nimi can come up from the rear and support him by chipping away at the enemies on player turn, so that he can usually get the killing blow on a single target if a single target had already tried to strike him and had missed. And oh my god, that bandit could have easily one-shot Mulder. Thankfully he didn't though. So Nimi can chip away at an enemy and allow Colm to get a free kill. And this is only supplemented by the fact that they are supported with each other, which gives them extra bonuses to dodge, damage, critical rate, and things like that. So the interplay that they have with each other is pretty high. Probably one of the highest in the game. And so as far as just from a basic, just face value point of view, they have an immediate support bonus. She covers his weakness, which is not being able to attack at range, and not always being able to do enough damage from one turn to one round an opponent. He usually doubles, but even then, it's still not enough for him to kill them. So either he can attack them first on player turn, and then she cleans them up. Or, on enemy phase, the enemy attacks Colm, may or may not hit him. If they hit him, she can possibly kill them, giving him a chance to heal himself. Or if he dodges, he can attack them again, which would kind of give her not necessarily nothing to do, but you have that option of making sure she isn't hit by the next opponent, because there's usually more than one coming at you. You can attack again, which can either kill the opponent or lower their health so much so that it's easier for her to kill the opponent. Or you can just finish them off with her, because it may be riskier to just attack with Colm, because you may be fighting a spear user, or a lance user, or a really, really adept sword fighting opponent like a Myrmidon or a mercenary. Another way to look at unit interplay is with extremely potent support due to non-combative abilities and skills, such as a healer's ability to, and the gameplay is going to just keep going because I think I AFK'd for a little bit. I forgot what had happened at that moment. A unit's ability to support you as either being a healer, which is just exactly what that is, just making sure that your HP is up so that you don't fall to 0 and die, or specialty specialists that have different types of ways of supporting you, such as a dancer's ability to allow you to move more than once, or a unit who has more con or constitution than you to be able to rescue you. And then when they rescue you, they have it's pretty decent level up. When they rescue you, they have certain qualities about what class they are and what their abilities are after they rescue you, such as if they're a mounted unit, they're usually able to cancel or continue moving after they rescue you if they have extra movement after they had gotten to the space where they were able to rescue you. They can continue moving with you as they rescue you. Or they just have enough, you were in a position where it was dangerous and you were taking too much damage, and let's say Armor Knight comes up and rescues you, and they're able to tank most of the incoming either enemy fire or just general wave of enemies that are coming after you, to buy you enough time so that they don't die, because you do take a huge penalty when you rescue someone in speed, so that they can survive in order for other units to come in and support you with either damage or healing and things like that. So there's so many configurations and possibilities that come with Unit Interplay that it's quite unprecedented that anyone has had the ability or fortitude to log all the different combinations you can have in one game, let alone all the games in the series. Since you can have, aside from the maps that force deploy certain units, there's so many combinations of so many units, of so many different starting points, so many different growth starts, so many different there's so many different bases, the units that have different bases when they join the party versus units that have different types of growths when they join the party, different types of join times when they join the party, and so many other stigma and things to take account of when you're crafting your party. And if you're crafting your party with hindsight when you're crafting your party with hindsight in mind, you have these preconceived notions that certain units would interplay more or better with other units because of a high amount of axe users on this map, so I'm going to want a lot of sword fighters. There's a large number of flyers on this map, so I might want to bring a bow user, or a user that is really adept at fighting lance using flyers that have really low HP, so you probably bring an axe user. There are also lots of maps where you have lots of magic users, so you would want to bring counter magic type units, ranging from if there are a lot of anima magic users, you might want to bring a dark magic user, or you might want to bring a Pegasus Knight, or you might want to just overwhelm them with lots of physical attack power from either a critting Myrmidon, or extremely strong fighter or pirate, or just play it kind of generally and bring an infantry unit like Cavalier or a mercenary. So with the unit interplay in mind and party composition dictating who's going to be with who. Ooh, nice crit. Dictating party composition and vice versa. There's so much untapped potential with how you can approach the game that, in my opinion, I find it kind of silly to only rely on the party comps that only allow that only promote very, very speedy or optimal gameplay, when there's so many other ways you can look at formulating a party with different unit interplay options, that it seems kind of disingenuous to the game as a whole when it gives you so many options. albeit some of the options may not be as good at face value, or just in the context or the perspective of playing really fast, or just being efficient at killing or being efficient at supporting, that you kind of take away from the fact that there are other strengths that this character can have if you look at all of the ways that they can interplay with the other units. You could just... That's a really good level up. You could only look at their base stats and growths and how they play with the map itself, but then you would also kind of neglect how they interplay with other units. And yes, you may not need another anima magic user, but if you just simply wanted more magical attack power for one reason or another, you would have more of an incentive to bring that magic user along because of the strengths that magic users innately bring to the party, such as having really good 1-2 range, generally, and having really high res, generally, and also sometimes being reliable to dodge, especially if they are supported with either another magic user, maybe the dancer if they're able to do that, or maybe a healer if they're able to do that. And then once they promote, they have other options at their disposal as well. Usually all magic users, being monks, mages, and dark magic users, shamans, when they promote, they instantly have access to staves, either D rank or C rank, or I'm sorry, E rank, D rank, or C rank. I'm not sure if anybody in this game promotes and has C rank, but I know that most people promote to either E rank or D rank. That's also a pretty decent level up. Oh wow, I need to go talk to Joshua immediately. So, I'm gonna do something foolish yet again. I'm going to put friends in the way. I'm gonna put him in the forest. But as we know, that's not enough to save him. But I'm gonna do it anyway. The reason why you would want to bring or to train up or to use other magic users, not just because of their magic, but because they get extra utility as when they promote, and the fact that they're now able to heal other party members alongside being able to attack, and they have the ability to, I don't know if it's started in the GBA games, but when a mage user or magic user in general is holding on to a stave, they can also counterattack on enemy phase, because even though they were using the stave or have it as their top item in their inventory, they default to the last attack tome that they have in their inventory. So wow. Okay. She was really upset about getting hit by that. Can't blame her. So you have not only another extremely potent 1-2 range magic user, you also have another healer in the party. And having another healer is almost never a bad thing. Especially if you're doing things like Iron Man's and you just accidentally lose a healer. Now you have access to another potential healer should you lose them. And why? This guy is critting all the time. Holy crap. He is really upset about losing that last map. Resetting that last chapter. So basically, the unit interplay you can have with classes that have extremely high malleability with their class types is basically more of an incentive for the game to allow you to experiment with different party comps and combinations. I don't know if I'm going to use to attack this. Oh. Any lance yet? Okay, that's free. I think either Arthur or Vanessa's gonna kill him. No, it's Arthur. That's GG for that guy. And he's down. Does he get a decent level up though? Not really. More speed isn't bad though. He needs to start doubling. Okay. All we can do at this point is pray. Doesn't really matter that I spoiled it. It's still kind of tense to watch this. Just so uncomfortable. 18 damage. She's on range, which is pretty upsetting. I kind of underestimated my ability to kill that archer, and I forgot to move her. But I think she'll be fine. The only thing I'm really terrified about is Joshua's ability to be a complete and utter loser and try to attack my other members of the party. But we'll see about that. How I'm gonna do this party formation of having Erica right there, which he could also easily kill. Getting Ross up there, but not in range of Joshua, because that's an easy KO. Getting Mulder out of the way ASAP, and Vanessa can easily fly over to the left. Why did I do that? I forgot what I do to get out of the situation. Do I rescue him? I don't remember. Unit Interplay. Using your flying unit to rescue him and then fly away. Do I drop him off with Arthur? Can Arthur even do that? I don't know. So he can attack Erica if he wants to. He has no reason not to. I just gotta pray. Okay, oh, that's what happened. I remember now. He tries to kill Erica, so she's safe from Joshua. Joshua has no choice but to attack Franz. Actually, no, I think he can still walk around and attack Erica if he wanted to, but he chose not to. And I forgot that extra 1 point of... Oh, that's pretty decent level up. That extra 1 point of damage actually would have saved his life last time. Because he would have critted for 30. Because he had 10 damage the last time. But now he only has 9 damage. And 9... That was a horrible level up. Well, he got strength, so it's not the end of the world. What am I trying to say? Oh, please don't kill him. Jeez. Don't kill each other. Him getting a crit would not have been the end of the world now, because multiplicatively, he would be fine, because 9 times 3 is 18, instead of 10 times 3 being 30, so that extra 1 point of defense actually saved his life, since he just simply did not have the HP to deal with that. So whenever somebody tells you that 1 point of anything in fight... Oh my gosh, what is up with these weird level ups? Whenever somebody tells you that 1 point in Fire Emblem doesn't mean anything, it's complete nonsense, since a lot of the calculations are multiplicative anyway. So 1 point can make all the difference, especially when things... 1 point can mean life or death at any moment. They're kind of in a pickle right now. I shouldn't attack him. I should go back into the forest and heal. Never mind, he stands right there and heals. Doesn't want to punk out and leave an enemy right there. And she can just drop Mulder wherever. Doesn't really matter. As long as that brigand gets dealt with, it's fine. I'll just use Joshua. I'm really bent out of shape though. I really want to fight him with friends for some strange reason. Hey, I didn't get hit that time. Great. Arthur? Oh, you can kill him. Go ahead. No, wait. No, go ahead. Do it. Kill him. Oh, don't waste the killing edge on that. Oh yeah, that's right. That's why I bought that extra sword a while ago. Okay, he's dead. Oh. Oh, okay. Alright. I'll take it. That's fine. I can walk up and everything's fine. What else can I say about Unit Interplay? Unit Interplay and party composition. I guess the only point I really wanted to make is there's too much emphasis on certain units that interplay because of optimal functions and optimal setups, rather than exploring the game for other options or seeing those other options as valid, even though they're not necessarily the way that the community as a whole views what optimal is or isn't. And I think that is a poor way to judge the game or to view the game as a whole, because you're cutting out so many opportunities that I can say with relative certainty that no one has ever did the math to calculate exactly what unit does what at every point in every map with every possible level up in mind, because there's so many variables to calculate and so many units to just bounce data off with, that it's kind of a madman's task to want to do that when you can just default to the easier and less time consuming default of, well, it's not optimal, so therefore we shouldn't use it because it's bad. Because in my opinion, that's extremely lazy and kind of defeats the purpose of exploring a game, tactical RPG that is thick as this game. Okay. He is kind of in trouble. I probably shouldn't have did that. Oh boy. Okay. Dodges that guy. It was a bad decision. I should have just waited. I shouldn't have attacked. Oh, he went for Vanessa instead of Colm. I'll take it. Okay, we're good. He dodged at 80. Oh my. I would have left him at 7 HP. Okay, does it get a decent level up this time? Pretty okay. Pretty okay. Just okay. It's just okay. Okay, he would have died. Yeah, he would have died. Ridiculous 80% dodge. I mean, I kind of deserved it. I really did deserve it. Out of all the freaking, what was it, episode 2? That hand axe guy? Yeah, after that, I deserved that, honestly. And this guy getting it. Okay, I deserve that for saying what I just said. I don't know, man. That hand axe guy was something else. It was an okay level up. HP strength, it's okay. Really need speed, but HP and strength isn't bad. It's not the end of the world. Slim, I pray for a crit. She gets hit at 33. These axe guys, man. These guys are brutal. Okay, that's free. That's also free. But I really need to heal him. Just in case. And then... what happens after this? He attacks him. Okay. Then who do I attack with him? It's a good question. He kills him. Oh, what I should do is I should move back a square, throw a javelin at the soldier, and then let Joshua kill the brigand right there. That's exactly what I do. Oh my goodness, I can see into the future. I did not know he was going to do that, by the way. I have not studied this footage at all. I'm just kind of going by rote. Choices I think I would have made. It's kind of weird to see myself but not actually have any control over what I'm doing. Okay, so I think I've said everything I wanted to say about Unit Interplay and why I think it's something that should be looked farther into, just in general, because I think there's so much more to explore and so much fun to be had. Hey, it's Amelia, who gives us a torch. Hey, that's another reason why Amelia's great character. She gives us an item that is indispensable on the Fog of War chapter. That's after 5X. I think it's chapter 6. So speed wings and a torch. Never forget. And I just think there's so much fun to be had too. Like, deliberately setting up a party of nothing but magic users just to, like, cause absolute mayhem with. It sounds hilarious. It sounds like so much fun. Not just for the casual aspect of having fun when you play a game, but, like, seriously taking a deep dive into what that would entail in the game. Like, how mages interact with the game without any what do you call it? Tankier units to act as shields. Like, how do they deal with swarms and swarms of enemies coming at them? They have access to 1 to 2 range, but they can only take so much abuse before they're just completely knocked out. Even though they do have, usually when they're fighting infantry doesn't usually have a lot of resistance. So 3 mages versus 6 infantry units, they have the advantage in range, but once that range is, once that gap has been closed, what do they do after that? Depends on the map, the terrain, who's supported with who, tactics, formation, the tomes that they have at their disposal. Meh, level up. Extremely meh, level up. And that's the end of that chapter. And the next chapter we'll be looking at Ephraim.